Hello, Siham. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Looks like it's going to be a nice, maybe nice day. I don't know about tonight, but looks like a nice day.
Maybe I hope
Yeah.
so.
Go outside and enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah.
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 Hello, Gata.
Hello, Mr. John. Hello, everybody.
Doing okay?
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think this weekend is supposed to be really nice.
Yes, I'm thinking of going out.
Finally, yes. Finally, we have a few days with no rain. That's the good thing.
Yes, yes,
Actually, last night was perfect. My wife and I took a walk around our neighborhood, and it was just perfect weather.
yes.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people walking around.
I did. I mean, I was so surprised. Sometimes we go walking around the neighborhood. So we live next to Dixie Highway, and so
Hmm.
sometimes we go across the street and walk in the neighborhoods that are next to us. Now, usually you don't see anybody,
Hmm.
but yesterday it was like a movie. People were outside,
Yes, yes.
playing, and I thought this. Wow.
And they're all smiling and very happy.
Yeah, I thought this is. I thought, are we in a movie? What is this? Everyone's,
Yes.
yeah, didn't think it was real. All right, I see Wong and May and Jasmine. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Well, we were talking about how good how our spirits are good because it's sunny outside. Very beautiful day.
Yeah, but the weather gonna rain, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a little later. Well, we'll worry about that later, May. Don't talk about it now.
Okay.
Let's enjoy the moment now. All right. Well, hey guys, why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm sure we'll have a few people join us, but again, it's such a nice day. I know. Well, anyway, guys, welcome back. It is Thursday, May 8th. Now, we talked about dogs in our last class, and I found another interesting article about animals, but especially dogs, since dogs are the most popular pets. So, in this little article, they were talking about, can animals really talk? Like, for example, can dogs actually talk, like communicate to us? And the question is, can we understand them? So I thought I would share with you this interesting study. It was just a little study they did in this kind of research. And what they discovered is that, in fact, dogs can talk, but it takes a little practice to figure out what they're saying. So what they did is they trained these dogs. I'll just kind of explain it very quickly. They trained these dogs to use what they called sound buttons. So they would press a button. They would train them, and they would make some connection to these buttons that they would press, and then the dogs would communicate what they need. So what's interesting is they mentioned they communicated what they needed. Maybe they communicated how they were feeling. But interestingly, they said that they were even communicating something more complex, something a little more interesting. So they took this particular study. This particular study took place in 47 different countries, and they gathered all of this information from about thousands of dogs. And they used these buttons, had words like outside, food, and help. And what they noticed is whenever they pressed a button, right, whenever the dog pressed a button, they would, write down or record this information to try to see if they can understand how dogs were communicating. So it was a very interesting idea to think about, that how dogs might communicate. So, for example, now I don't know if this is, I don't know if I believe this, but this is what they said. They said one amazing example. The dog's name was Stella, and basically the dog pressed buttons in a series, like do 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 do, like to in three different consecutive actions. And basically it was help, water, and outside. And part of the idea was they realized that they had taken away the word beach. This dog wanted to go to the beach, it wanted to go outside, but they took the button away, and basically the dog was able to communicate help, water, and outside. Now, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if the dog actually was trying to say, let's go to the beach. Maybe. But I think the idea here is that dogs do have some ability to communicate and share some sort of basic feelings, like if I'm hungry, for example, or if I need to go outside. I know our dog. I told you last class we have a little dog, and this dog really communicates. When this dog wants food, or when this dog wants to go outside, or if this dog needs, wants to play, like I'm bored, let's play. Our dog really communicates. Okay, so it's almost like our dog is talking to us. But anyway, I thought this was an interesting idea because maybe animals are trying to communicate with us, but maybe we just don't quite understand how to do it. So again, according to this study they did all over the world, they said that yes, dogs can communicate, or at least communicate something, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I like this little picture here. I have here of the dog saying, "I'm hungry," right? I mean, come on, dogs, they certainly know how to communicate certain things, right? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I have a great expression for us to practice. Of course, you might say, well, animals can communicate. Some animals, like birds, right? Some birds can talk. Well, I'm going to share an expression with you that I think is perfect for this situation. And then we're going to continue with our gerunds and infinitives activity. And today we're going to talk about a new type of gerund and infinitive verb. So we're going to discuss that here in our class. Okay, so again, if you just joined us, we were just kind of reviewing that this research study said that yes, animals, especially dogs, can communicate some basic things. So I thought, okay, class, let's think about all animals. Okay, think about all of the animals in the world, right? So if animals could really talk, I mean really talk, like people talk, not just communicating their needs like I'm hungry, what do you think animals would say? What do you think animals would say? So if an animal could talk to us, what do you think an animal might say to us? So if I go to the zoo, for example, like what do you think the animals would say there if they're at the zoo? If they could really talk to us, what do you think? Who has an idea? What do you think the tigers and the lions and the elephants, for example, what do you think they might say to us? Anybody have any thoughts? What do you think? Do you think they would only just say, I'm hungry? Or do you think they would say something else? Yeah, what do you think, Fatima?
Hi, teacher. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm in Morocco.
Well, so from Morocco, what do you think the animals in Morocco would say to you?
Yeah, I think sometimes I see in the eyes of the animals that the animals say to me, "You are lucky to be free. I'm in the cage. I'm not happy."
I think that would be a very interesting thought. Sometimes I do think the animals think, oh, I don't want to be in this cage. I don't want to be at the
Yeah,
zoo.
yeah,
I want to be free.
yeah,
Okay, nice. I believe that. I definitely think animals are probably wishing they could be free. I think that's good.
yeah.
Okay. May says you look yummy. Yeah, maybe that means we shouldn't get too close, right, May? Hey, May, sometimes I think our dogs look at us and say, you look yummy. That's what sometimes I wonder if my dog is thinking, I'm going to eat you. Now, a few weeks ago, my dog bit me on the hand, and that's because I wanted to try to take the food. We had he had a bone, and I wanted to take it away, and he bit me on the hand. So maybe he thought I would be the bone. Maybe. Yeah. Gata, what do you think?
I think I believe that they called the yell at kids, special kids, and said, "Stop annoying me," because kids used to animals and
Yeah.
dogs and something like that, and put or take away or grabs the tail of some cats and
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. I think they will yell at kids.
Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think cats and dogs can communicate that now. I do. So yesterday, so I'm trying to get our dog. Our dog is still, pretty young. It's, our dog is 4 now, and what I'm trying to do is get him more exercise. So we're going outside and trying to take longer walks. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, so yesterday, after class, this was actually after class, I took him outside, put him on the ground, went to the bathroom, and then he looks at me and he's like, I don't want to take a walk. So he turns right around and we go right back in the house. And I thought, okay, that was definitely a dog communicating something, like, I'm not, he just looked at me and he's like, I'm not going to take a walk. So we go right back up the steps. And I thought, okay, I see. Yeah. So I think sometimes dogs can say something. I think they can. Adeline, what do you think?
Yes, I can say when the dog is sad, it go in the corner at home. It takes seat before looking you.
Yeah. I can definitely tell when dogs want something or they want to say something like that. They have those sad eyes. Right. I think so. In fact, Adeline, we call those puppy eyes. When they look at you with those sad eyes like that. And especially if they're feeling sick. It's hard. Of course, animals can't really communicate when they're sick, but I know sometimes, like, I can see in their face if they're not feeling well, like if something's going on, like we don't know what it is. So I think you're right, Adeline. I think they can communicate some of those basic feelings, like I'm sick or I'm sad. I think so. I think so. So, guys, do you think animals would want to talk about anything else? Do you think they'd want to talk about the weather, or do you think animals would want to talk about, I don't know, the sports? I don't know. I don't think they would they? Or maybe if you're eating some food, do you think your animals are thinking that looks delicious, right? Any other ideas? Okay. Well, I definitely, I think, May, I think yours is a pretty funny answer there. I think sometimes I wonder if the animals are looking at us thinking, oh, it's lunchtime. Yeah. So, and then sometimes I worry because I think about my own little dog. He's thinking, oh, you look delicious. All right. Now, of course, we were talking about animals communicating, and yes, some animals actually can vocalize, right? Some, like birds, there are certain birds that can, kind of imitate speech or talk, and sometimes they can put things together. Again, there are often a lot of animals that are very smart about it. So we actually have an expression that we borrowed from the animal world. And part of it is, I think, perfect because we often think of animals that can move very quickly, and they can often, so if you think about traditionally in a lot of cultures, they would use birds, right, to send messages maybe to other communities. So maybe you've seen in the movies, or maybe in your culture, often they would put a little message on a bird's, on a bird's talons or whatever under their beak, and then they would fly to give some message to someone. So we have an expression, leave me alone, yeah. So we have an expression that we actually have borrowed from the animal kingdom. So everybody turn on your microphones. Let's say this expression together, because this is, I think, a really good one. So everybody turn on your microphones. Let's say this expression together. A little bird told me.
A
little
little
bird
bird
A little
told
bird
me.
told me.
Okay, now maybe you have a similar expression in your language, but basically what this means is somebody told me some gossip. Now, guys, do we know what gossip is? Have you heard this word before, gossip? Yeah, May, have you heard that word before, gossip?
Like people tell you something you don't know, the new thing, the news.
Yeah. Yeah, so for example, somebody is sharing some interesting news, but usually it's behind your back, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for example, if I said, "Hey guys, do you know what Meredith did yesterday?" Blah 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 blah. Right?
It's like a rumor.
Kind of.
Talker.
Yeah, it's
Gossip
kind of
mean a
like,
talker.
yeah. So, and of course, usually gossip is stuff that we should not share, right? We shouldn't share this information, but we do, don't we? We like gossip, right? Yeah, we like to share information. Hey, did you hear about Gada? This is what Gada did yesterday. Okay. So in this case, so some people might say, a little birdie told me something, right? Somebody told me some gossip. So someone might say, a little bird told me, and then you share the gossip, right? Gada?
Yes, I'd like to ask about something. It's normal and common between woman and girl. Is it common between men also?
Hey, everybody loves gossip, Gada. Come on, everybody loves it.
Mhm.
Now, of course, maybe women do it more, but men like to share gossip too. We
And
do.
also that the topics are difficult.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. They're usually the things like somebody got divorced, right? Or somebody is doing this, or did you hear about
Mhm.
this bad news?
Mhm.
So, but Gada, everybody does it. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. It happens. Yeah. Now, of course, maybe it depends on where, right? So, again, I think men often gossip at work, for example. Maybe they gossip at the gym. Yeah, I mean, so maybe the locations might be a little different, but the truth is everybody does it. Everybody does it. So this expression, a little bird told me, basically means somebody told me this. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I have some gossip to share with you. So anytime someone says this, you know they're going to share some interesting news. So here's what we're going to do. In just a moment, we're going to go into the breakout room, and I have a little conversation for you to practice. Now, we've done this before, all right? So there's a little dialogue, a little conversation you and your partner can practice. And then at the bottom of the screen, there is a question that you can discuss. And this question is talking about gossip. So again, this is where you will hear the truth, right? I'm sure you'll say, Mr. John, I never share gossip, right? I don't listen to gossip. And I certainly will tell you, I don't believe you. I think everybody, I think everybody likes gossip, right? All right. Well, let's go into the breakout room. You can practice this little dialogue with your partner, and then you can practice the question. Okay. All right, guys. I think our groups are ready. All right. Okay, guys, our groups are ready. So we'll go into the breakout room and then we will share. I'll share the link and then you guys can discuss the dialogue. So let me get it ready here for us. Okay, just need to upload the file here. Okay, all right, guys, we're going to go into the breakout room. I will be there in just a moment. So let's do that here. I'm trying to find it first. Okay, all right. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the breakout room here. All right, I think we're waiting just for one more person. But first, let's talk about the conversation. So if you notice in the dialogue, when someone says, a little bird told me, do you notice that we don't often tell who the person was? Right. So for example, notice the person says, I can't share my secret. Right. So oftentimes when people say a little bird told me, you may not know who said it. Maybe they'll tell you, maybe, right? But again, this is a good example, I think, of the kind of gossip that we're talking about. Someone is resigning, right? Someone is quitting. So that's a very common situation. Okay, so now let's ask the question. All right, so guys, do we listen to gossip and share it with other people? Or do we think it's wrong? All right, let's hear the truth. Come on, tell me the truth, guys. Do we listen to gossip? Hmm?
Yes.
Yes, Miriam?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think
you don't say, oh, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to
no,
hear that.
sometime I said that is yes, sometime, but sometime I'm interested to listen.
Yeah, what is it? What is it? Yeah. Or maybe Miriam, do you say, I'm not interested. Don't talk to me about this. Maybe tomorrow.
I think it's the important part of our life.
Oh, you think so? Oh, that's it, huh? That's the
Yeah,
basic.
sometimes you can listen, but you're not gonna like comment.
Share to someone else is bad thing.
Oh, wait, hold on, Meredy. Say that again, Meredy.
Yeah, sometimes you can listen, but you're not gonna comment. Like just listen and just close your mouth, not say anything.
You can do that. You
Yes,
don't
I
say
can.
anything, really,
No, I don't say anything. Yeah.
Meredith.
Yeah, because it's sometimes it looks kind of like scary because you don't know
Mhm.
the person who's telling you like who's saying this gossip. Maybe it's gonna go to that same person and say, "Hey,
Oh,
look, Murder
okay.
said this like behind you." So that's why sometimes I don't want to say anything. Just listen to you and just close my mouth.
Now, Meredith, do you sometimes say, "Okay, don't tell me, don't tell me. Let me guess." Do you ever do that?
Yes, yeah, sometimes, yeah, sometimes, yeah. I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear that. So I'm good.
That's amazing, Meredith. That's amazing. Okay. Okay. That's what you said. All right. Okay. Adeline, what do you think?
Uh, for me, I want to listen to gossip, but I don't share this information with another people.
Really? I don't know if I believe you.
I want to
Never.
be very, very smart with this information.
So you tell me, but I don't tell you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's right. Because some gossip, it's kind of like example. If they told me like, "Hey, do you know this guy? He's sick, and we don't know if he's gonna live." So it's gonna be kind of like a little bit scary to tell
Sure.
somebody else. Because
Sure.
when I'm
Sure.
gonna tell like somebody else, maybe she's gonna ask me who told you that
Yeah.
and why, when he's gonna die, and it's kind of so scary. So I'm gonna keep it for me. But I can say like some gossip, it's kind of like a little bit good to show that. Like example,
Well, I
if
mean, that's
if I hear
true.
like they're gonna raise our pay, it's a little bit gossip. So the manager didn't say anything to us, but we hear somebody say that they're
Okay.
gonna raise our pay,
Yeah, but
and it's gonna be
what if
necessary.
you're
So to
wrong?
tell.
Huh? Yeah, what if you're wrong, Meredith? Then everyone gets angry at you. You told me. No, it wasn't me. I didn't say it.
Mhm.
It was a little bird who told me.
Yes.
What? Okay, guys. I don't know about this. I don't know.
But some gossip is very interesting.
Hey, listen,
If,
all gossip is
if,
interesting. Come on.
if, if they're talking about money,
Come on, guys. All gossip is interesting. Don't you think so?
because if you don't listen for gossip, you don't get money. If they share money over there, you put your hair listening to gossip. Where is money? The money is over there. You run before taking your part.
Okay, Adeline. So next time I'll be careful when I'm talking to you. Okay. You might tell me where. Tell me where now. Tell me. Wow, you guys are pretty severe here, pretty strict. All right. Let's get some other opinions here. All right. So, Jasmine, what about you? Do you share gossip?
Not really.
Not really. Not even on Facebook? You don't share gossip on Facebook? You sure?
No, I don't.
Well, okay, do you listen to gossip?
Yes, I do, but I
Oh.
prefer to keep it to me.
Everybody here is very secretive, I see. Okay. Interesting, interesting. All right, now I want to see, does anybody in the class love to share gossip? Come on. Who's honest? I need one honest person in this class to tell me. Somebody in this class shares gossip. Siham,
Yeah.
tell us.
Sometimes, yeah, I do. Sometimes,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Sometimes yes. Okay. Siham, what about you? Come on, be honest.
Yeah, you know that it's wrong. That I share with my best friend, and when I
Can you
hear some,
can you
uh,
trust this best friend?
yeah, I can trust her, and
Okay.
she trusts me. If
Okay.
she heard something, she told me she take the phone and told me, and me other. If I hear something, the first person I think it's her. But I have some gossip I didn't share with anyone. I just heard it.
You just
Maybe,
heard it and then you keep it to yourself.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Interesting.
yeah, but it's few little, not too
But
much.
so wait a minute. You can keep that information. You don't share. You don't feel like I must share it. Don't you feel
No,
like it's just inside, ready to come out, like to explode?
yeah, I feel something, but don't do that, don't do this, and I keep.
Okay, I don't know if I believe you.
No, that's true.
Hmm.
It's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep it. I
Okay.
did that few, not lots,
Okay.
but few.
Okay. Okay. Miriam says she shares it with her mother. Somehow, Miriam, I can see that. I can see that people would want to share it with someone like their friend or their mother. I think, okay. Okay. Gotta?
Yes, I believe that it's wrong, but I like to
Of
hear
course. Of
gossip.
course.
I like to hear it, and but it depends on the gossip itself. If I can spread it or not. If the gossip are related to someone's reputation or something like that, I don't like to spread it at all. But if there was in the example of the situations, it's about the news that I can spread it before another person to know. To be the first person to tell the other about it, it's okay. It's okay. To spread it.
So
But
so let me imagine this here, Gata. So if someone says they have some gossip, you say, no, don't tell me, don't tell me. What is it?
no. I would of course feel.
I don't
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Yeah, so
I like hearing.
okay. Okay. Well,
But I think a little bird told me I said it again and again to my
again and
kids.
again, right? So it's
To
not
my
just
kids.
so this is not just one bird, it's like a network of birds,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just like a whole
A lot
flock
of
of
people.
birds. Yes, a lot of birds. Yeah. Well, that it's kind of a funny expression, isn't it? A little bird told me, because if you
Yes.
love gossip, this bird is working hard.
Yes.
So this is the hardest working bird in the world. Well, I think everyone probably does like gossip. I think so. I think everybody loves it. But I don't know if I believe everybody that you can't share it. I don't know. I think some of you are just not telling me the truth. All right. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for sharing. Fatima, you got some gossip for us?
Yeah, I have just a small comment.
Okay.
I don't in our life now. If you want to live in peace, don't listen to gossip.
Yeah, but then that makes life
Yeah,
boring.
because for me everything is personal, not
Sure.
to share with gossip.
So Fatima, what do you do if I have some gossip to share with you?
Sometimes I just listen, but I
Now
don't
wait a
share.
minute. You just changed
Yeah,
what you said.
yeah, what I said, for example, wow, that's true.
Now
That's
wait,
true.
so wait a minute, but you still listen.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
but you don't
that's
I
do,
thought you said I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. Go away. Go away. I don't want to hear it.
do you want to do I want to know. I want that for me, if I share some things with the site, perhaps I have a problem after.
Well, of course, Fatima, but I think you changed your story. I thought maybe you said
I can
never.
I can do that with,
Never.
for example, with my sister, with my
Mhm.
mom, with my best friend, but not with everyone.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, Fatima. So I think everybody likes gossip. I think so. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Fatima, for sharing. All right. Well, once again,
Sometimes,
uh-huh.
sometimes there is a person who want who want that you share with him
Sure.
a lot of
But you
things.
don't. But you don't.
Yeah, yeah. I tried.
Oh,
I
okay. Now you
tried.
keep changing your story here, Fatima.
I
Yeah.
try.
I
Sometimes you
try.
can to share with him
50% of
something,
the time
but
I
not
try.
all. But not all.
Okay, class. I think we're gonna have to laugh here. I don't know, Fatima. It sounds to me like you like gossip.
Mm.
All right. Well, thanks, Fatima. All right, guys. Well, once again, our expression for today, a little bird told me. So people often use this as sort of an introduction to some gossip that they have to share. So somebody told me this interesting news. Now, honestly, I think of social media like Facebook and Instagram. I think a lot of it's just gossip, don't you think? I mean, I think we don't know if it's true or not. People like to share it. So, but anyway, thanks for sharing. Okay, now today we're going to go to a different topic with our gerunds and infinitives discussion. So I'd like to go ahead and talk a little bit about, so in our last few classes, we have been discussing that we have, those verbs that use gerunds and those verbs that use infinitives. Okay, well, I've got more to talk about because we have another problem when it comes to gerunds and infinitives. There are some verbs that can use both. Now, already this topic is a bit confusing, right? We have some verbs that use gerunds and some verbs that use infinitives. Today, we're going to talk about two different kinds of verbs that can use both. So let's take a look here at the first example. Now, some verbs, when we use both, really have no change in meaning. For example, words such as hate, like, love, start, and try, you can use a gerund or an infinitive, and there is no difference in meaning. So take a look at the two examples you see here on the screen. I started learning Spanish a year ago. Okay. You can also say, I started to learn Spanish a year ago. So in this case, both are exactly the same. They both have no change in meaning. They both have the same meaning. So the idea here in just a moment is we're going to practice this example. We'll use the chat to kind of get started with the idea. So take a look at our list again. Hate, like, love, start, and try. All right, so everybody, let's go to the chat for just a moment. Now, I'm going to let you choose which verb you would like to use. So you can use hate, like, love, start, or try. It doesn't matter. You can choose one of them. Here's what I'd like for you to do right now. Go to the chat. I want you to write the same sentence, but do it in two different ways. So let me show you, okay? So for example, I'm going to put my first example. So I started swimming in 2022. I started to swim in 2022. Okay, so same sentence, same exact meaning. I just changed the gerund and the infinitive, but they both mean the same thing. Okay, now guys, I'll give you a minute or two. So choose one of the verbs here on the list. Hate, like, love, start, cry. Doesn't matter, you choose. Put your answer in the chat, but write it both ways. Okay, so again, I'll comment as you're writing in the chat. So guys, take a moment. Again, you can choose whichever one you want. Hate, like, love. I'm sure you're surprised I didn't put I hate eating broccoli, but I wanted something different. So, all right, well, guys, go ahead. I'll give you a minute or two, and then when you're ready, put your example. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, hopefully you've had a chance to do both. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next discussion point. Okay. There you go, Fatima. Good. Okay. All right. Thank you, Miriam. Okay. All right. Good, Adeline. That's good. Okay. So those sentences there, those examples, hate, like, love, start, try, you can use either a gerund or an infinitive. Okay. Now it gets a little confusing. So this is where it gets a little difficult because there are some verbs in English where if you use the verb, it will depend on what the meaning that you're trying to say will be. Take a look at the examples here. So for example, the words forget, remember, and stop. Now with those three words, if I use one as a gerund, and if I use the other as an infinitive, there will be a change in meaning. So if I use the word stop, for example, there is a difference in the meaning between to stop doing something and to stop to do something. Okay, so let me give a couple of examples here to share to kind of clarify what we're discussing. So everybody take a look at the forget example. Does everyone see that right here? All right, now let's take a look here and try to figure out what the meaning, the difference is. Okay, so let's take a look. It says, I will never forget buying my first car. I will never forget buying my first car. Now, in that example, so let's clarify here. I'm going to use a little note here for us. In this example, this is using the gerund. Okay. So when we use forget doing, right, forget using the gerund form, if you'll notice, it says, I did something, right? I did something, and I will never forget it. So in this case, I'll never forget buying my first car. Now, class, you might remember a few weeks ago, we talked about how sometimes when we are using a sentence in English, sometimes that sentence might have two meanings at the same time. We can look at the sentence to see if it's actually giving us two pieces of information. Let's see if we can understand what the sentence is trying to tell us. I will never forget buying my first car. All right, so question number one, did I buy a car? Yes or no? Did I buy a car in that example?
Yes.
Yes.
I bought it. Question number two, do I remember buying it?
No.
Yes.
Yes. Look carefully, got it. It says I'll never forget.
Yes, 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 I got it.
Okay. So what the sentence is telling us is, number one, I bought that car. Okay. Yeah. But number two, I remember buying it. Now, let's think for a moment. Why do you think this person will never forget buying their first car? What could be some reasons why they would never forget it?
It was like a challenge.
That's her first car.
Well, first off, it's the first one, right? Yeah, I mean, so think about it. In just a moment, we're going to talk about some other things that we've done for the first time, because I think often we remember the first times, right? First time buying a car, first time, coming to a new country or visiting a new place. Okay, so maybe that's one reason. What could be another reason? What do you think could be another reason why they'll never forget? What do you think, Meredith? You got an idea?
Because I need.
Maybe. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Meredith. You go first.
Maybe because you kind of like spend a lot on that car, so that's why you're gonna never forget like buying something like it was kind of like so special for you, or
Yeah.
you was kind of so excited to get it.
Now, what's funny, Meredith, is that often our first cars, I mean, cars are expensive anyway, but
Yeah.
maybe that's the first expensive thing you ever bought. Yeah, so maybe you had to save money. Maybe you had to
Yeah.
work hard for it. Now, what's funny, Meredith, is my first car was not a great car. So it was special because it was my first, and it was special because, yes, I had to save some money. But sometimes the first of something is not always the best. Like that first car was not exactly the best car, but it does have some connection to that memory or that feeling
Yeah.
about it. Yeah. Okay, Adeline, what were you going to say?
I say I never forget because I need this car.
Maybe you were desperate and this was your first one. Yeah, guys, here's what's funny. I remember the first car my wife and I bought. I remember buying it. This is a true story. So my wife and I got married. Okay. Now we were very lucky. We still had a car. I still had an old car, but when we moved to Florence, or this area, we needed a car. We needed another car. She got a job and she needed another car. I had to go to work and she had to go to work. So we went in one weekend. Now, we didn't go visit other car dealerships. We went to one dealership. We looked for one car, and then we decided this was the car we're going to buy. Now, what's funny is this. What's funny is we go to the place to buy it, and it was a used car. Come on, we didn't have any money, so it was a used car. So we go up to the salesperson, and we said to the salesperson, we would like to buy that car, or we would like to look at this car. And the salesperson said, well, I didn't bring that car into the dealership. That was another salesperson. And that other salesperson and we're not talking right now because we're angry at each other. So go talk to him instead. I thought, oh my goodness, is this how every car every car purchase is going to work like this? We didn't have any experience at it. So I think, Merity, it was also special because it was really a situation we had no experience with, and it was such a crazy story. So we had to buy it. We had to take it that day. Now, we didn't know if the car was any good. We didn't know. So, yeah, that was probably not the smartest way to do it. So I think many times we remember the first because we have no experiences either. Right? We didn't know what was good or what was bad. So I think in some ways it's special for many reasons, sometimes good, sometimes bad, right? Now, God has said a lot of first experiences have that special taste, right? That special flavor. First car, first job, first baby, your first salary. I don't want to remember my first salary. Yeah, I don't want to remember that one. Okay. Now, do you see what we're talking about? The expression, because we use a gerund, what that means is I remember that experience, right? Now, of course, we could also use it in the opposite way. I forgot doing this. Now, guys, that may have happened to you sometimes. Sometimes you did something and you forgot that you did it. Like maybe this morning, I forgot, So I'm going to give an example in the chat. So if you look in the chat, my example, I forgot closing the door this morning. Now, that sentence means two things. I closed the door, but I didn't remember doing it. I forgot doing something. I did it, but I forgot about it. So when you say I forgot closing the door this morning, it means I closed the door, but I just didn't remember it. Now, class, has this happened to you before? Did you do something and then you forgot that you did it? Has this happened to you before?
Yes.
Yes.
Like what? What, Merity? What's something that you did and you forgot that you did it?
Like unplug the iron, like.
And then you worry about it all day?
Yeah, and I was already out. They said, "Oh my God, did they unplug it or no? I don't want my house to
That's
get on
always the thing,
fire."
isn't it? Yeah. And then here's what happens. Did I? Yeah, I did it. Of course I did it. I did it.
Mhm.
Or wait a minute. Did it?
Let me go check.
Let me go. Okay, let's go. Yeah. No. I know. I didn't do it. No. I did do it. I did do it. No. I didn't do it. Okay, let's go. Yeah. So in this case, we could say Merity forgot turning off the iron. Now, the question is, you did it, right? You turned it off. You just forgot doing it. So in this case, when we use the gerund, it means that in this case, yeah, we did it, but we forgot about it. Now, I think, again, maybe sometimes we turn off the lights and we forgot doing it, right? I have a perfect example. This is true. So this morning, I forgot washing the clothes in the clothes, in the washing machine. This is true. So this morning I was going to go downstairs and put some more laundry into the washing machine. I opened the lid, and what did I discover? There was a load of laundry that I washed about 2 days ago that I totally forgot. Now, has this happened to you guys before? Oh, May, of course. This happens all the time. You put it in, you washed it, and in this case, I forgot doing it. So, Agata, your question.
Yes, I'd like to ask about forgot. It means that you don't make sure you're doing something, so you forget
So
doing it.
well, like for example, Gata, if you're a busy person, okay, if you're a busy person and you put the laundry in and you started it, and then you leave,
Mhm.
and then something distracts your attention.
Mhm.
Now, you probably totally forgot that you did it.
Mhm.
You see, like I didn't even remember that
Mhm.
I washed those clothes. I forgot doing it.
Yes.
So in this case, I didn't even have the idea that there were clothes in the laundry. I completely, totally forgot it.
Yes, like me, sometimes I forgot putting some detergent into the clothing machine.
That
Yes.
or like for example, you go to the grocery store
Yes.
and you say, "Did I buy milk? Let's buy some milk." Okay, and then you go home and what's in your refrigerator?
Mhm.
Milk,
Yes. Yes.
because you forgot buying the milk. You forgot. You bought it 2 days ago, but you didn't remember.
So all the time I told my husband to pass through all the aisles to check.
Poor husbands. It's
I want
always the
something.
husbands who suffer. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now I understand this is a little confusing, isn't it? Because for an example, Siham put an example in the chat. So Siham, my question to you is, did you turn off the oven or not?
Yes, I turned off.
Okay. So now, Siham, in that case,
Mhm.
you would use the gerund.
Okay.
I forgot turning off the oven.
Okay, thank you.
You did it,
Mhm.
but you didn't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, I know that's confusing because look at the example now on the screen. Look at the second example, class. I forgot to buy milk on my way home. Now, I think most of us probably know the meaning of this sentence. I forgot to do it. So the question is, did I buy the milk?
No.
No.
No. And that's because I forgot about it. So what I'm trying to share with you here this morning is that if you choose the gerund, the meaning is different. So the gerund means I did it, I just didn't remember. If I use the infinitive, I didn't do it because I didn't remember. So in this case, that's a little different, isn't it? That's a big difference. Did you do it or not? So in this case, Siham, that's why I was asking, because I think in this case, if you said, I forgot to turn off the oven, that means the oven was still on. That's a very different sentence, isn't it? So Meredy, that's like your example, right? If you forgot to unplug the iron, that's very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you go home and see, was the iron still plugged in or not?
No, it was unplugged.
Okay. I think many times we do things automatically, right? We don't even think about it. So often we do it and don't even think about it. And then later, oh, I forgot unplugging it. I already did it, right? Now, Siham, in your case, right? That's why we had to be clear because we didn't want to make sure the oven was not going to explode. So, okay. So again, it takes some time to understand the difference. It does. It takes some practice. All right. Let's try the opposite meaning real quickly. Take a look at the second example of remember. Now, remember kind of works the same way. if you use the gerund, it's not talking about doing an action at the moment. It's talking about, did you already do the action? So, for example, I remember studying English when I was a new immigrant. Now, this is an example we looked at a couple of classes ago. You might remember this one, where it looks like it's talking about a past action. Do you remember this example? We were discussing this when I was asking you about gerunds and infinitives. Now, the second part of the sentence, when I was an immigrant, that part is in the past. But the present tense is talking about what you remember now. What do I remember? I remember doing this action from the past. So in this case, when I say I remember studying English when I was an immigrant, that means I studied and I remember doing that action. The second example, though, I remembered to buy something. This is, again, talking about that I remembered. So notice it's in the past. I remembered to buy cucumbers at the supermarket. So class, did I buy the cucumbers?
Yes.
I did, because the sentence is in the past and it's telling us that I did this particular action. I remembered to do it. Now, Meredy, let's take your example again of the iron. So you might say, I remembered to unplug the iron, which is true at that moment, right? So earlier you remembered to unplug the iron, but later you forgot unplugging it. So if you notice the difference, at the moment you remembered to unplug it, but then later you forgot you did it. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's the case, right? Now, Meredy, I have bad news for you. It's because you're getting older.
Oh my God. Oh yes.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to old age. Class, I'm sure this is true of everybody, right? You do something and then you forgot you did it. Is this correct? Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm giving you a lot of information here this morning, but the idea is there are differences in meaning. Now, class, it's going to take practice to understand these differences, okay? It's not going to be immediate that we understand these differences. It takes practice. So the first thing I want everybody to understand, okay, this is the first thing to remember, that when I use a gerund and when I use an infinitive with these three words, forget, remember, and then finally we're going to look at stop here in just a moment. The meanings will be different, okay? That's the thing to remember. The meanings will be different. Let's take a look at the final one, okay? Now, the final one is talking about smoking, for example. So class, take a look. I stopped smoking. Now, some of you probably know this one more than the infinitive example. So when we say I stopped smoking, does that mean I smoke now? I'm continuing to smoke? No. So I stopped this particular habit, this behavior. I mean, smoking is not really good for us, right? I mean, so we stopped doing it. Look at the second example using the infinitive. I stopped to eat lunch. Okay, now what does this mean? Well, look very carefully. I was doing some activity and then I stopped that activity. I stopped what I was doing so that I could do something else. So I stopped to eat lunch. Now, what were you doing? I don't know. You would have to explain what you were doing. Maybe you could say, for example, I was cleaning the house and then I stopped to eat lunch. So I was cleaning the house, right? I was doing something else. So let's put that here on the screen. just to give us a little more context. Okay, so again, when I use the infinitive, it's telling us that I sort of interrupted my action. I was doing something and then I decided to do something else. So I stopped what I was doing. I stopped to eat lunch. Now, this might be something you use on a vacation, right? Maybe you're driving, you're traveling, and then you decided, oh, I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat. So I stopped driving to eat lunch. Yeah, so I stopped some activity to do something else. Okay? Okay, so these three examples, remember, forget, and stop, have different meanings when we use the gerund or infinitive. Now, I understand it can be confusing. Okay, it can be confusing. So we're going to try a couple of examples, and we will continually refer to this explanation because I understand it can be confusing to know. But in my experience, most students are familiar with probably one or the other in their own experience. For example, I think most of you are probably familiar with you forgot to do something. Most of us know this one, I think, because this is probably more common for us. So I think this one is one that we're probably familiar with. When it comes to remember, well, probably most of us are more familiar with the gerund. I remember doing this from the past. And then for the last one, again, in my experience, most students are familiar with the gerund example of stopped and not so familiar with the infinitive. So many of you probably have some experience, but it's really trying to understand the difference that can be confusing. Okay, so that's kind of our goal here this morning is before we finish, we want to see if we can at least try to begin to understand the difference between the two examples. Okay, now before we try an exercise, do we have any questions about this topic? Any specific questions? I know it's a lot of information. Okay, well, let's get into some exercises. Let's try a couple of activities and let's see how we do with it, okay? And then if we have any other questions, we'll continue. And don't worry, if we make mistakes, that's okay. We're learning about this particular meaning. So I understand that that's why it might be a little confusing. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look here at these different sentences, and we're going to see if we can come up with some answers. Now, I think in this case, it might help us if we just kind of work together because, again, I understand it's kind of new to us. But the nice thing here is each example has some context, but I'm going to ask different students to read the sentence for us. So, for example, maybe Gada, would you like to read number 1 for us?
Okay. Kelly didn't forget to call her father on his birthday. So Kelly remembered.
Now, remember, we have 2 choices here.
Yes.
Calling or to call. Now, again, let's go back to that little context. She didn't forget to call. She didn't forget.
Mm-hmm. So she remembered to call.
Okay, well, let's check. Congratulations. So she didn't forget. She remembered to do it. She remembered to do it. So in this case, when we didn't forget to do it, someone remembered to do it. Okay, all right, that's a good start. Now, again, we're going to come back and try some exercises, some of our own examples, but let's continue. Okay, let's try some more. Okay, May, would you like to read number 2 for us?
Aaron didn't eat dessert and candy anymore. Alan has stopped eating desserts and candy.
All right, let's see. Okay, very good. Yeah, so if you notice, the key word was anymore, right? So in this case, this is something they don't do anymore. Now, of course, I feel bad for Alan because that sounds like a terrible life. Okay, I mean, That sounds terrible. He stopped eating candy? I mean, come on. All right, let's try number 3. Maybe Siham, would you like to try number 3?
Okay. Yuko visited her relatives in Japan a long time ago, but she still thinks about the trip. Yuko will never forget. Okay.
So we have 2 choices, visiting or
Yes.
to visit.
Okay. In more time, Yuko visited her relatives in Japan a long time ago, but she still thinks maybe to visit her relative in Japan.
Okay, let's check the answer. Okay.
Oh, visiting.
Now, the key word here, Siham, is she still thinks about it.
Okay.
So that means she did it and she remembers doing it. So the sentence is a little confusing because it says she will never forget. So in this case, when we use the ing, that means she did it and she remembers doing it.
Okay.
Okay, that's okay. This is our first time practicing with it, so I think that's our first time. Okay, thank you, Siham. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, Adeline, would you like to try number 4?
Fred dislikes his bus ride to work because the bus is crowded. Fred hates taking the bus to work because the bus is crowded.
Okay, let's check our answer. All right. So, Adeline, you had a lucky sentence here because both answers are correct. Now, remember, the reason is because the word hate, we can use an infinitive or we can use a gerund. And if you remember, there is no difference in the meaning. So in this case, you could not make a mistake. So congratulations. So with the word hate, we can use an infinitive or a gerund, and both are correct. All right. Thank you, Adeline. All right. Let's see. Meredy, would you like to try the next one?
So, Stanton got tired while he was driving, so he parked his car and rested. Stanton got tired while he was driving, so he stopped.
So what do you think? Stopped resting or stopped to rest?
To rest.
Okay, let's check. All right, very good. Yeah, again, if you look at the original sentence, the key word was that he was doing one action, but then he stopped to do another action, right? He got tired while he was driving, so he stopped to do something else. Okay, all right, very good, Meredy.
Thank you.
Okay, Fatima, you want to try the next one?
Marianne had homework, but she forgot about it. Marianne forgot doing her homework.
Okay, now let me ask you one question. Did she do it or not?
Had homework, but she forgot. No, she didn't. But she forgot about it.
Okay, so what should we say then? She forgot to do it or forgot doing it?
I think the win.
Okay. Nope.
To do. I thought I said in the first one.
Well, and again,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine.
But she forgot about it. She didn't do it.
Yes, that's the difficulty is did she do it or
She
not?
didn't do it. If she do it, we must make forget doing.
That's correct. Now you got it.
Yeah.
That's good. So so now you're beginning to understand. Yes.
Yeah.
So in this case, yeah, the basic question is did she do it or not? She didn't. So she forgot to do it. But that's okay. You did a good job thinking it through. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Miriam, would you like to try the last one?
Okay. Eliana took her first English class 2 years ago. Eliana started studying English 2 years ago.
Okay, let's check. All right. Well, you're also a lucky person, Miriam, because you chose, you had a verb that can be both.
Yes.
So as we said earlier, the word start can use either the infinitive or the gerund with no difference. Okay, thank you, Miriam. All right, now, again, this is our first time doing it, first time doing this activity, so it might have been a little confusing for us. So here's what I'd like for us to think about. Let's go back for just a moment to a couple that maybe gave us a little difficulty. So let's go back to number 3 for just a moment. Okay, now in the example, again, in the example, someone did something and they'll never forget doing it, right? So in this case, the beginning of the sentence, will never forget, da, 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 da. Okay, now class, let's try a little example. Let's use the chat. Now, I want you to think about something in your life that you will never forget doing. Something that's maybe, again, like buying your first car or, visiting a new country. Something that is so in your mind that you remember, right? Something so special, something so amazing that you will never forget doing this particular action. So I'll put my example in the chat. You guys can think about your own examples. So let's start with that one. What's something we never forget doing? So I'm going to put my example in the chat. Okay. So this is my example. I will never forget publishing my photography book last September, right? So I've mentioned my book before, so I will never forget publishing my book, right? Very special moment, right? I'm not going to forget doing that. All right, so guys, think about yourself. What's something that you will never forget doing? So take a few moments, put your example in the chat. Tell us something you'll never forget doing. Okay, now Huang, that's a great example. Very emotional, I'm sure. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, good, got it. That's always a good special moment, right? Don't worry, you don't have to tell us how old you were. Okay, so all right, that's a good one, Miriam. I remember my first time leaving my hometown. Of course, you had to probably travel a lot farther than I did. I'm sure that was a memorable time.
Mr. John, can I
Come on.
ask? I will never forget saying goodbye with my mom at airport or at the airport.
The airport, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. All right, that's a good one, Fatima. All right, now Adeline, I think yours might be the other use of the word forget. So usually, again, Adeline, when we say I will never forget doing something, it means something very special. So I think your example might be something you might do every day, but think about some special thing. So for example, you might think about, for example, people might say, I will never forget getting married, for example. So I think in this case, Adeline, we would use really special things with the ing. Okay, so maybe think about that for just a moment. Okay, Siham, all right, that's a good one, Siham. I'm sure that was a very special day. Okay. All right, Meredy, that's a good one. The first time, what, Meredy, was there another time you were learning English?
Sorry?
Well, your example was learning English the first time. What do you mean by the first time?
Mm,
Do you mean like from the beginning?
yeah, maybe from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay. All right. Any other examples? This is a good list. Okay. Okay. Yeah, May?
I would never forget delivering my first baby.
That's a good one. Probably don't forget those things, do we? Okay. All right. So again, Adeline, I think again, maybe we need to again remind that it's about something very special. So maybe Adeline, you would say, I will never forget getting my first job. I think that would be a special moment. I think going to work is something you do every day. So if it's something you do every day, then you would say, I never forget to go to work. So I think maybe that's still confusing us a little bit.
Teacher,
Yes.
but I can say I will never forget uh, uh, I don't know.
Well, are you talking?
When I never forget uh, getting my first diploma.
Yeah, that would be a good example. Yes. That's a good example. Because it's something special, something you remember. Okay? Yeah, that's a good example. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I think we're off to a good start. I think this is a good start for us with this activity, but I think you will see it's going to take a little bit. It'll a little bit in a little more practice. And Fatima, gosh, that was a long time ago, Fatima. So yeah, that was definitely 6 years ago.
It is the first one and the first and the last one.
I think so. I think it was pretty quick.
Really, we have the good classes with you in person.
Well, that was
I feel very, very happy.
well, that was a long
Yeah,
time ago. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
All right. Hey guys, thank you so much. So real quickly, I got to share some information with you real quickly before we finish. Hey, so do you remember in our last class, we talked about Valerie the dachshund? So I shared with you that the dog basically was separated from its owners for 529 days. Well, guess what? It's back. So we don't have time to watch all the video, so I'll share with you just a little bit, okay? So let me share this with you real quickly. This was today. This was posted this morning.
It's the long-awaited reunion, 540 days in the making.
After going missing while on holiday on Kangaroo Island, Valerie the sausage dog has finally been returned to her loving owners.
Wrapped in her mother's arms, Valerie is showered with love and affection after spending more than 500 days on her own in the wild. Though you wouldn't be able to tell, the runaway pooch quickly warming up to her owners and slipping back to her normal playful self.
Now that we're here and seeing the reaction of Valerie today to seeing her mum and dad was awesome, and yeah, it makes everything that we've all been through worthwhile.
All right, so I thought you'd all want to know the news there. How did the dog seem to do? So far, so good. it's still a puppy, so maybe the puppy will kind of forget some things. Who knows? So I thought I'd share that with you guys real quickly. Now, guys, we got some schedule things to talk about real quickly before we finish here. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next slide. So let me do that right now. Okay.
It's the
Okay, real quickly, guys, we do have some scheduling things coming up. As some of you know, we're kind of getting into May, which means, the college where I work has some, meetings and responsibilities. Also, I'm going to be traveling. So I'm going to Colorado for some book events. I'm going to be signing books in Colorado in a couple of weeks. So I just want to let everybody know we will have class next Tuesday. Okay, so we will have class, but then there will be no class for a few days. So next Thursday, and then Tuesday the 20th and Thursday, May 22nd, there'll be no class on those dates. So just want to remind everybody that we will have class on Tuesday. So just to let you know, but we will not have class for the few days after that. Okay? Adeline, you have a question?
Yes, teacher. I send you the message about my new schedule for test, but no response till now.
Let me send it again. They've been in meetings. They've been pretty busy. The testers have been pretty busy. So I'll send the email again. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
But because I choose another days, not Wednesday, but me, I need
Well,
Thursday.
I'll send it to them and they'll have to respond. I don't do the testing anymore. So, but I'll send them another email. Okay.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.